Welcome to the English Mystic Podcast. I'm your host, English Mystic, Dragon Shaman, Spirit Whisperer, and Mr. Explorer of all things seen and unseen. You're tuning in to a very special series honouring the epic Dragon Thunder Summit 2025, a worldwide gathering of visionaries, dragon channels, energy workers and soul-shifting guides. The summit brought together 36 incredible speakers from across the world, each sharing their unique gifts, wisdom and connection with the dragon realms. In this podcast series, we're diving deep, one episode at a time, into the essence of each speaker, their transmission, their gifts, and all the healing and awakening and dragon connections they've brought forward. To explore more about each speaker or to access the full summit replays, visit www.dragonthunder2025.com. Now breathe deep, call in your dragons, and let's step through the portal together. Our next speaker is Anu Shira, a Cosmic Scribe and curator of the Royal Lyran Project. She discusses Indra's web and its connection to all beings. She shares her journey of receiving her name and the birth of the Royal Lyran Project. She also emphasises the importance of journaling and connecting with one's power team. And she discusses the transition into the Age of Aquarius and the handover from dragons to Goldwinged Lions.
The next speaker is Anu Shira, who is a Cosmic Scribe, also known as the Cosmic Scribe and curator of the Royal Lyran Project. In this current incarnation reality, I am mother, grandmother, sister, and divine counterpart in union with my other. I'm going to hand over to Leone, and she is going to tell us more about who she is and what messages she has today. So thank you for being here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction, Barbara, and Kelly for holding the space for us. I'm beyond thrilled to be sharing this platform with so many stellar beings, and I've only managed to listen to a few of the other speakers. And what I'm really loving is that we have this oneness consciousness. You can feel everything coming in that others are experiencing as well, and that gives me full body goosies. So yes, I'm Leone. I'm also known as Anu Shira and the Cosmic Scribe, and I'm really looking forward to walking on this path to joy with everyone today to see what manifests. And I think to start off, I'd just like everyone to receive the invitation to just close eyes, put your hands on your heart, take a few deep, gentle breaths, and call in your power team. If you don't know who they are, just ask them to be there, and they will be there with you. And set an intention for Spirit to reveal to you what is perfect in this now moment. Just a minute. Thank you. Thank you for that. We trust we're going to have fun today. It's a monkey day in the galactic mind Tolkien, so it's a day for me to play and to invite you all to play with me. And here we are gathered as dragons, sharing amazing wisdoms and gems. And I will share a little bit more of my own journey, because that is where I'm coming from. It's what I can give to you, my self-realization as a dragon. And as we know, there are so many dragon realms, rainbow realms, the crystalline, the inner earth, the elemental realms. And I personally come from Lyra. So this is my original construct. Perhaps you've been shown your original construct, and if not, you call in your power team and ask them to open that doorway. And believe me, as dragons, they will be very happy and very efficient to show you where you are from. And knowing how efficient they are, things will flow very quickly from that. So when I started preparing for this, I really wasn't sure what the theme would be. And I always go in and I ask Spirit, what do you want of me today? And nothing solidified. There was nothing clear. It was like an open book. Just let it flow. So I trusted that. And that was a personal step into faith and trust and surrender for me. And however, a few days ago, I was guided to share what I refer to as Indra's web, which is, it comes from mythology, from the Hindu mythology, from the Vedas. Indra being one of their higher gods, the god of rainmaking, of water, thunder, lightning. He's the king of the Devas. And to show how this web covers the entire cosmos, it's a huge infinite web that covers all the constellations, all that is in our universes and in our world, and how bringing it down into this microcosm that we are, that Indra's web, we're all connected to it. And what we do affects everybody else. So knowing that we each have a logoic spark or a spark of God, logos being the word, we have that within us. And so at this time, we're being called in to be co-creators in anew. I'd like to go back to who I be, and just to give you a little bit of background of that. I was a recorded speaker last year, so if you need to know a little bit more about things that I will just touch on briefly, you can go back to those recordings if you have signed up. So I am a fully merged Lyran dragon, and the story of receiving my name, Anushe Ra, which is the first higher aspect that was shown to me, is quite something. I was divinely guided to go to Portugal. It was not in my field to do that, but in 2010, by divine orchestration, I went to Portugal, planning to stay for 6 weeks, and I ended up staying for a year. And in that time, I met my soul family, who are part of my greater monadic family. And what I loved is that they were doing a healing modality, which I had been doing for many, many years, but I didn't have a name for it. I just did it. And meeting these people helped me to understand what my gift was in that particular modality and to expand it. So I was working with one other. We were doing a healing on a client. And when we'd completed that healing and transmutation, she left and I decided to stay in a meditative state. And all of a sudden, I felt myself at the control of what I can only describe as an ultra-terrestrial craft. And it was controlled by my mind, by my consciousness. There was a panel in front of me with a lot of green energy, and there were things to do and move, but it was all done with the mind. And as I was flying in this craft, I heard the voice. Now, you'll hear me refer to the voice quite often. It is that which is within me, which has been guiding me since my shamanic initiation in 1986. I hear the voice, and I know the voice, so I trust the voice. And the voice said to me, your name is Anushe Ra. You are not to utter this word until I give you the instruction to do so. So this was quite a mind blow for me. I was like, okay, so what do I do with this? And I simply held it within my heart, knew the name. I heard it so clearly, Anushe Ra, and I held it within my heart for 7, 8 years. And then I think it was in 2019 or 2018, I was told, okay, you can come out now. And I know that one of the other, I think it was Viviana, spoke about coming out as a dragon, sharing it with your family. We all feel a little bit sort of apprehensive about that, because who's going to believe that we're a Lyran dragon and that my name is actually Anushe Ra? But I did that. And when I stepped into that sovereignty and into that power and into my name, that's when things started expanding for me. With my connection to dragons, what is fantastic for me is that everything started happening at around the same time. In 2017, I went on a shamanic journey to find answers to questions about life and death, which had become very personal for me. And in that journey, I connected with 13 beings. And the full story is in last year's recording, but just so that you have a picture in your mind, those 13 beings downloaded codes to me. And we played, we had fun. And then I was told, and I did a second journey a few days later with the same 13 beings coming forward, that the 13th of those was actually me from the future. And that was quite it was a revelation to me, and it helped me to understand, my path and what I need to do and how I must bring my gifts. So at the same time that happened, a couple of months later, I was working on my laptop, and suddenly I could hear people who were across the veil, as well as people who were alive but in different parts of the world, calling my name. And I looked up at my laptop and I saw an image of a lioness cub with my own face in the background and the face of a lion shaman. And this really grabbed me because I knew the lion shaman personally. I cannot say his name today because he has crossed the veil. And out of respect to those San Bushman people of the Kalahari in South Africa, they do not use their names once one has transitioned. But there he was in front of the screen, and I got goosebumps, and I was like, what is going on? And then I heard other people calling my name, and I sat with that and meditated with that for a few days, and the Royal Lyran Project was birthed within me. Tied in, so the theme of my talk today is about Indra's web. Did I mention that? Things are going so quickly. Indra's web, the Hindu god, yes, I did mention it. So that web is what is connecting all of these experiences that I've had as the Cosmic Scribe, as the curator of the Royal Lyran Project, and as a dragon. And a couple of months after I received the Royal Lyran Project, I noticed on Facebook that an amazing woman from the States was coming to South Africa to awaken the female black dragon of Mu. So there are, for those of you who don't know, there are 12 dragons of Mu who hold the templates of the earth. They are in pairs, the elementals, earth, air, fire, and water, a male and female black dragon, male and female white dragon. And when I saw this post, I connected with my beloved friend, Araya Unra, who is the dragon lady, and we had a discovery call. And I'll never forget the time that happened. The discovery calls that she does are usually about 15 or 20 minutes. And we spoke for a good 45 minutes. And something ignited within me. I knew that I had to do the program. And that's what I did. I stepped in and did the 9-month program with Araya. And that's where my own journey to my dragon self accelerated. I was put on a fast track, and just all these amazing things have been happening since then. So that was in 2019. What is interesting is that the dragons were appearing to me many years before. I would see clouds and take photos of them because they looked so amazing. And then I would see something in a tree and I would take a photo of it. Looking back now, all those photos were dragons. But I was in denial because I was still under the remnant of the religious programming that dragons are not good. But they never let go of me, and they kept on, and this is how they came to me. So I look at those photos now, and I'm so grateful that they showed themselves to me. Do we have questions?
I don't see any right now.
Okay, great.
And, you're good. You can just keep going, and I have
keep
your
going.
images if you need me to put anything up from your file. You sent
Thank
us.
you so much.
I
Yeah,
have
thank
it right
you.
here. You just can tell me if you want me to put your wheel up or your 7 solar system, that piece.
Great.
You tell me.
I'll
I'll
thank
see
you,
if I can
Kelly.
put it in the chat for you.
Okay, wonderful. That'll be great. I can.
Yeah.
I'll give you a cue when I get to there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was also thinking that as you were talking about that, you know, Casca Graham, who presented in England.
Yes.
She just did a whole thing on the dragons of South Africa. So I just wanted to mention that.
Lovely. Thank you. Won't you put it in the chat for me so that I can remember?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, as this journey of mine expanded, I came to the realization of my dragon lineages. So the Lyrans actually started speaking to me, and I was basically aware of them almost my whole life. However, I think it was in about 1999 or whatever, we as a family had this incredible experience with a leopard. And looking back on that, I realized that's when my Lyran feline aspect was coming in and calling me. But back then, I didn't have the awareness that I have today. However, being able to connect those dots and to draw all the threads of Indra's web together into what I'm experiencing today has really been an incredible experience for me. And that whole story of my feline connection is available in the Royal Lyran Project PDF, which I'm happy to share with anybody. If you'd like to send me an email, I think my email will come up on the screen later. You could send me an email and ask for the Royal Lyran Project storybook. It's beautiful. I love it. So in this, I started looking at my dragon and Lyran lineages because I have a paternal lineage and a maternal lineage. One is dragon, one is Lyran. And I did this by meditating with intent, going into a meditation and saying, show me my ancestors, show me my family. They would sometimes come to me in dream time and tell me who they are. Or when I was in a session with Araya, a number of my guides have come through and just given me the gift of knowing who they be. Often I would be out in nature and suddenly there would be a crystal in front of me and I would pick the crystal up and I would get this download. I am Gebra Deleth. I am a dragon, Lyran dragon from the solar realms. So this kind of thing was happening to me, and I really loved that. I want to show you this one. So I didn't pick this up. I was supposed to go on a rock hunt with Araya and my beloved other Jonathan. And that morning I didn't feel well at all, and I was so disappointed I decided I'd have to stay at home. And what happened is that my beloved picked this up. And what I love is that he was meant to find it rather than me. Perhaps if I'd gone with, we wouldn't have found this. But I don't know how well you can see, but it looks to me absolutely like a lion. Oh, good. I'm not very good at this. So there's a very lion-like, the nose and the eye. And this is the crystal that I'm working with at the moment. So, yeah, as I said, there was so much happening at the same time. So, Kelly, if you could put up the number 2 image, which is the Cosmic Scribe story about my codes. So at the same time, there was, as I've mentioned, the 2017 getting the codes, and then the Royal Lyran Project. The Royal Lyran Project is very much about earth grid work, and this was very, very new for me. I didn't know what it was. You know, even with the codes, with the scribing, I didn't understand what sacred geometry was. I didn't know what it was that I was drawing or scribing, but I just trusted. And I really want to encourage everyone who's listening to do that. Trust your inner compass. It may feel or sound like really weird, but be prepared to step into your sovereignty and into your power and bring your gifts, because each of us has a beautiful gift, and we should all be bringing it so that we can
I'm so
anchor
sorry.
in
It's
this new
saying
earth.
it won't let me put it in, darling. I don't know why it
Ah,
says
that's
there's a
okay.
restriction. So I'm not sure why, but it says it's restricted and won't let the file as a PNG in.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Well, it's not
apologies.
meant to be. I'm not going to
But
stress about it.
okay.
Yeah, great. So back to the Royal Lyran Project. It started in the beginning. I would hear locations on Earth. The very first one was connecting Uluru with Brandberg Mountain in Namibia, where the Sandbushmen people are, and Mount Kilimanjaro. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll do that. And I drew a trine connecting those, and then I would receive a code that goes with the geometry for the Earth grid work. And one of my past lives that Araya unearthed for me and which I really felt into was that of a medicine woman from the Aboriginal tribes in Australia. And my job was to walk the song lines and to sing into the song lines. And that memory was very emotional for me because it's what I do today. So when I receive a code, I sing my heart song and I sing the code into the land. And I do whatever I need to do to dance them to life so that they are in the morphogenetic field and that they are doing what they need to do for the greater good of all on the earth. So with these geometries of the Royal Lyran Project, that is what I was doing. And in the beginning, I was working very much on my own, just bringing them in. And then I was guided to invite others who felt resonant to that to join me. And we did it together. And we went through phases where I was working on my own or working in a group. And what I think is really important, and I'd like to say this, I'm a serial journaler. I've been journaling since 1986. In the beginning, I used to write in a little A5 notepad, and eventually I had so many of those, I thought, no, I've got to switch over to digital. So I have a huge library, and I have a memory of being in the Library of Alexandria. So that's no surprise to me that I do that. But in this journaling, it has helped me to make sense of my life. So, as I mentioned, my spiritual awakening, or what was actually a dark night of the soul, a shamanic death, happened in 1986 at around the time of the harmonic convergence. And if I hadn't been journaling to the extent that I do, I would have lost so many of these beautiful keys and codes and threads and dots that connected and gave me ahas about my life and who I be and what I need to be bringing to the world. So I would really encourage you to keep a journal, no matter how small something may seem. There's a lot that will help you to understand who you are and what you should be moving towards in your journey. So, as I say, storytelling really, really important for me. And because we're not able to bring up the banners that I made with information, I'd just like to mention here that I do have a Substack account. It's called Incension or the Cosmic Scribe, and I will try and put those things into the chat at some stage. But a lot of what I share as far as my sacred offerings and my experiences are on that Substack, and a lot of my stories. And it's really mostly as a legacy for my grandchild, for my children and their children, and for the future generations. I'd like them to know who their grandmother is. So, right, let's get back to now. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. We've already started moving into that. So we've left behind that Piscean age, which was very much about the individual and with a strong masculine energy, moving into Aquarius, the water sign, the bearer of water, the bringer of wisdom, and the divine feminine. And what has been shown to me and others that I work with in the energy grid work is that the templates of the earth have been held by the dragons for eons, these amazing, powerful beings. And you really and truly can see them. So even if you think, I'm not so sure that this is true, go and have a look on Google Earth, and you will be guided to see where these particular dragons lie. And this is Araya's domain. She holds that energy of the 12 dragons of Mu and their connection to the templates of the earth. This process of ending that Piscean age ties in with the new age that we're entering into. And there is this handover from the dragons to the Goldwinged Lions or Lyrans. And the process has been ongoing for quite some time. The Lyrans are in place. The final handover, in my opinion, has not yet happened, but they are pretty much there in the background, in place, and ready to bring in this new template for the earth. It's a divine blueprint that will bring us into a higher frequency. And as it is anchored and held by the Lyrans, I believe that it is a template of pure intelligent light, because this age of Aquarius is very much about light and sound and the multidimensional nature of who we be. And all of us can be contributing to that. So it's a new horizon, one where we can co-create together. And what I call the return to the garden, our state of perfected grace and harmony. So there's a lot that I can share, and we're still doing okay for time. There's so much that I can share, as Lawrence also said. I mean, there's this vast store of information and beauty and gems and wisdom that is available to us. And I love that as we're going into this time, we're looking at one consciousness. And it's all about group and doing things in group as we are gathered here together today. It's extraordinary. And I love that every single person here, whether you know it or not, is bringing a glorious gem to the greater morphogenetic field, what we call the noosphere. So I'm going to try and grab some key elements to make sense of what I'm speaking about with regards to Indra's net. And I will be speaking from my own personal experience. So as we move into this, we obviously need to address our own inner wounds, our core wounds, our traumas, things that trigger us and make us less than the perfect person that we are, because we are still embodied here in human form. So as we go into the age of Aquarius, as we move into oneness consciousness, we cannot take with us anything that is discordant, that is not in harmony. And so that which is within us that needs to be transmuted will be coming to the surface. And please believe me, in the last while, I have had so much coming to the surface. I'm like, who is this person? What is this? Why am I experiencing this? So big thing about this moving out of polarity and duality, which has been the energy of the previous Piscean age, is that we are all of that. So if we look at archetypes, most of you will know of the archetypes. There are at least 20 major archetypes, the warrior, the helper, the rescuer, the persecutor, the villain or the oppressor. And then we have the opposite of that. So if you experience yourself as the oppressor, know that you have also experienced being oppressed. And if you are the frightened child, know that you have also been the opposite of that, the one who loves the child, nurtures and mothers. So as we see ourselves in this duality, we can do the transmutation by bringing the polar opposites together, raising them up to the divine and asking for it to be transmuted within us. And of course, as we transmute ourselves, we transmute for the collective as well. And this is why it's important to be courageous and to be strong and to make a decision to go there and do that transmutation. And of course, at this time, we have a resurgence and a reclamation of the divine feminine, which is all about love and nurturing and being in gentle and loving and kind strength to hold the chalice for the divine masculine to also be raised up to his full potential. So as co-creators and moving through these constellations, I'd like to share a little bit about the 7 solar systems, and this is information that comes from the Vedas and the Himalayan teachings. So they have 7 solar systems which are connected to constellations. So in the biggest cycle of 250,000 years, we move through those, and then it comes down, steps down into a microcosm where we have a smaller cycle moving through that. And so we move through these time cycles. And as I say, currently we're in Aquarius. So I'd just like to speak a little, if I may, to these 7 solar systems. We have Draco, which is connected to the base chakra. No surprises there. The dragons, they came in right at the beginning. They're holding the templates, and that is what they do. Then the next one up, so I'm going to share with you which chakra they are connected to. We have Antares, which is connected to the sacral chakra. And then Orion, Betelgeuse, which is connected to solar plexus. And here I'm going to throw in a personal thing. When I was in the program with Araya and we were learning about the dragons of Orion, I had such a physical, visceral reaction to it. It's like, I don't want to know anything about Orion. And I didn't understand it because what's Orion? When I started exploring, I came to learn about the Orion Wars. And that is where my own personal core wound came in. I'll speak to that more. I don't want to detract from the 7 solar systems. So I believe that Earth was created in order that those who had suffered the trauma of the Orion Wars would have an opportunity to transmute. And then we have our own solar system, Earth, which is connected to the heart. No surprises there either, because what are we doing? We're being called to be love in everything that we do. Pleiades is the throat chakra. Sirius is the ajna, or the third eye. And thank you, Lawrence, for speaking about the second third eye. And also what you see when you wake up in the morning. I often get it. I close my eyes and I just put a little bit of pressure on my eyelids and I see these amazing vistas of color and images and things. So thank you. That's obviously my second third eye. And then the Great Bear, or Ursus Major, which is a constellation that is connected to the head or the crown. And just dipping in a little bit into the Great Bear, there are 7 major stars in the Great Bear, which are known as the Big Dipper or the Plough, and each of them is imbued with the attributes and the functions of the 7 rays of God. And this was so beautiful for me because in the last while, I've been hearing a lot about 7s, connecting things that are 7, and so that's what I've been working on in the last time. So just running through those quickly. Benet Nash is commonly known as Al-Qaid, and that is the first star in that Great Bear constellation. It's connected to the first ray, which represents the will to power. Then we have Mizar, which is a second ray, the will to love. Alioth, third ray, which is all about creative and active intelligence. Megrez is the fourth ray, which is harmony through synthesis, which is what we are doing right now. This harmony that we're bringing in the polar opposites, harmonizing them and synthesizing them so that we can have peace. raising them up into a higher frequency. Excuse me. Then we have Dubé, which is connected to the fifth ray. It's a science of consciousness, the science of deity, the awareness of the will to feel on a higher, almost godlike level, frequency. Then we have Merak, which is a sixth ray planet. And the sixth ray is devotion to the spiritual path. And Fecta is the seventh ray, which is all about divine law and order, or what we can also refer to as ceremonial magic, but good magic, not that stuff we were doing back in Atlantis. So what I found very interesting in the ageless wisdom teachings, and I only learned this in the last while, that the masters of the wisdom of those teachings are known as the dragons of wisdom. So there's another beautiful golden thread on Indra's web. I'd also like to share with you about my beloved Dragonheart family. These are people that I've been connected to through Araya's program. We are 11 in our core group, now 12, but up until now, we were 11 in the core group. And for the very first time, we connected in real life, in person, when they heard that I was going to be coming from South Africa via Portugal to the United States of America. Araya arranged a gathering for us, and we went to Mount Shasta on the solstice. I mean, you cannot ask for more magic, more power, more beautiful encounters and sharing time together. So that was really incredible. We did an activation at on Mount Shasta, down in one of the valleys, and each person brought their beautiful piece, and it formed this amazing tapestry. Mine, I was given on the way to the activation. I was told you need to bring in the energy of the 4 royal stars. Now, for me, the royal stars are very feline. It's Regulus, the lion. It is Fomalhaut. It is Antares and Aldebaran. And you can go ahead and research that. But these royal stars, they've come to me previously when I've done work, but not with the power and the direct energy that I experienced on the solstice. And what I realized is that they are the 4 directional points that hold a cardinal cross in the greater cosmos. And they come in when humanity is at a point of great change. So, as we say in the Dragonheart group, we cannot make this up. We cannot make it up. Sometimes it seems beyond belief, but it's all true. As Lauren said, everything that you're experiencing is real. And once again, this is a thread connecting all of the sacred service that I've been offering. Now I'm going to move on. I'm good for time, Barbara?
Yes, you're doing good.
Okay,
We're
great.
1:40, so 10, 15 minutes, and then you do have some questions. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can. So in 2023, I've been scribing and bringing in codes. And at that time, I was mostly doing my own grid work, bringing in a transformational code. So if there was a situation on the earth, for instance, a political problem or wildfires in Australia or in problems in Venezuela, I would receive a code and I would do transmutation for that. I would send the energies in to heal the situation, to bring calm and to bring peace. So at the time, I was doing that mostly, as well as personalized soul expression codes, which I do. They sometimes take weeks to land from when I start the initiation, and I call them in. And then in 2023, the voice said to me, I want you to bring in 13 codes and you must call them Antakarana. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And then I was told, you need to bring in 1 a day for 13 days. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because when I bring in a code, it takes some time for me to integrate. It takes a huge amount of energy from me to land that code. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring in 13 codes one day after the other. But again, I trusted the process and I stepped into my power, into my sovereignty, and into my magic. And the codes just landed so beautifully every day. When I'd completed that, I was like, okay, now I dance them to life. And Spirit said to me, no, no, no. Now you bring in co-creative energies that support the code. And that's where I felt a little bit overwhelmed, because I was told to bring in 11 other energies. The mind galactic signature, the constellation that it was attached to, Hopi moons, all sorts of other energies. And I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this, but I will do it. And I stepped into it, and the only way I could envisage it was to create a wheel. So this is another banner that I've made, or image that I wanted to share on screen for you, that explains the wheel. But I wasn't able to do that myself. I tried this morning, and I see Kelly's also struggling with that. So we let it be. I will share in some way to all of you, or you can send me a message and ask me to share it to you. Anyway, as I began working with these cosmic codes, it was very, very clear to me that this was the Antakarana building a bridge between this earth and the higher realms. And I was told it's no longer about me doing my thing on my own. I need to create a workshop and put out a clarion call, and those who are meant to work with me with these codes will come in. And that's exactly what I did. I created a workshop. We would meet once a month. So for 13 months, we met. We worked with each code and with the wheel and with the energy. And in doing that decoding and unraveling with a small but very powerful group, yay, there we go. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got it up for you here. Keep going.
Wonderful.
This is what you wanted us to see, and I can do that with anything else you want me to share, okay?
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Yes. So you will see here, I was given the code. So that is Antakarana 1. And then I was told to connect it to a galactic being, because for me, these constellations, stars, they're all either stargates but they are sentient beings. So the galactic connection is Lyra. The aspect of the Sephiroth, or the tree of life, is the crown. The Kabbalah name, the what's that? Cosmic relationship is the attribute, and so on, all the way around. So the only way I could make sense of all these energies was to put it in this wheel. Then I was also given a grid that is connected to that code. So this Antakarana series of 13 is actually the 18th geometry of the Royal Lyran Project. Thanks, Kelly. That's great. And in working with this, it not only expanded my own trust and gift as a grid worker, but it was something that just landed beautifully, creating this bridge, which I believe is there, and it is for us to step across. And what I loved is that in the Antakarana, the constellations that I was given are connected to this to the 7 constellations, or the 7 solar systems that I spoke of earlier. And in unraveling all of this and decoding, we are bringing this energy into the noosphere, and this is the way we contribute and co-create. I must be honest. Right, there we go. These are the 7 solar systems. So you'll see the outer is the 250,000 year cycle. Within that is the cycle of the 7 solar systems, and these are the ones that we work through. Draco at the base, working through Antares until we get to the Great Bear. And of course, Alcyone is our great central sun at the center of all of that. So what I find is sometimes it's just, there's so much information coming in for me that I don't feel overwhelmed, but I've got to step back from what I'm doing and just take a pause and integrate. And I find that making a mind map also helps me to connect the dots, helps me to put together the ahas and the synchronicities, which is what I'm hoping to bring across to you today, that all of those things that you experience, those are also your dot connectors, or what I like to call crystal drops. It used to be breadcrumbs in the old days. I now call them crystal drops. So I'm going to...
So you do have a question, which was, could you speak a little more about the connection between the will and the Kabbalah?
Okay, so everything within that decoding of the code, of the Antakarana code, I was given intuitively, connect to the tree of life. So each of the 13 codes is connected to a point on the tree of life, or so the Kabbalah is the Kabbalistic name for the tree of life points. That's the easiest way that I could explain that. So in the tree of life, we have like a middle zone, which is the place between the above and the below. So many of those codes, well, all of those codes have a place on the tree of life, and they are connected to the Kabbalistic name. Keter, for instance, is the crown. Okay, I hope that answers the question. I do have some things to speak about. If I have time, I'd like to just run through it very quickly, because in the current astrological cycle, it starts with the full moon in Aries, the full moon in Taurus, and the full moon in Gemini. So those are 3 major spiritual festivals. And these are times when there is this greater vibration of these cosmic energies coming in. So the first spiritual festival is that of Easter in Aries, which is the ascension of the Christ leaving the physical body here and ascending into the higher realms. Taurus full moon speaks to Wesak, where the Buddha appears to his followers in the valley in the Himalayas, and that is alignment with cosmic will. And then in Gemini, we have the Gemini full moon, which is known as the Christ Festival, or the Festival of Goodwill, and that is absolutely for humanity. It's a gift to humanity for us to ascend into our higher aspect. And what we're invited to do in the remaining 9 months of that cycle is to work on ourselves and embody who we be. It is an opportunity and an invitation for us to become our fullest selves. And in doing that, we need to look at those things which we discussed very briefly earlier on, being the duality, being the oppressor or the hero, being the persecutor or the persecuted one. And as we look at that as our own experiences, then we can use this remainder of the 9-month cycle to raise our own vibration. I just want to speak very quickly. I want to bring this in. I don't know if anybody else has memories of life on Atlantis. I certainly do. I know that, I know that we had several lives on Atlantis, and that we were operating with so much power and so much beauty and love and all good things. And then something came in, and we started abusing our gifts, abusing power, becoming greedy, becoming self-centered, and basically causing the fall. So for many, many years, I used to get these pretty frightening tsunami dreams. where I could feel the earth rumbling beneath my feet. And I was like, oh my goodness, here it comes. And I would look out from my vantage point and I would see this wall of water coming in. And I would shout to everybody around me, run, run, run. I personally was never submerged or consumed by the water. I was always land up in a high place. But when I looked behind me, everything was gone. And that was a call for me to work with my own inner wounding from Atlantis, because in Atlantis, I have been the one who was doing beautiful white magic for the collective. And I have also been the one who was working with dark magic. And I think we need to own that. We need to own our sheet and work through it. And so if you're getting that, I'm finding that there is a lot of Atlantean energy when I speak to people. I pick it up and I'm recognizing it. This is your Atlantean wound. So it's another opportunity for us to bring about a redemption and a reclamation, a restoration of what fell at Atlantis, and to make a different choice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So we do have some technical questions, which is people liked your charts, but we can't actually post them in the chat. And I have posted, I believe, your email address. Is that where the best way to connect with you?
Absolutely. If anybody would like to know anything more about the energy grid work that I do, the codes, if you want a personalized code, I'm going to do a little bit of a self-promotion. I'm wearing a t-shirt with one of my codes. So this is not ready yet. I'm in the process of finding a print-on-demand company. Thank you for all the loves and the likes. Looking for a company who will be able to do this on demand. So if you're keen on that, I have 7 that are ready to be printed with 7 different designs. And I can't think of a better way to bring in the divine will, the divine love, the divine wisdom than by wearing a code on your shirt and walking around with it. So that's one of the things, but people are more than welcome to contact me. I've got several email addresses. Cosmic Scribe at incension.co.za is probably the easiest one to remember. And yeah, please be in touch and I will answer your emails. I'd like to just mention that I am going to be doing a road trip. We're leaving on Thursday or Friday. So I'm going to be on the road traveling 1,200 miles across the United States from Nevada to South Dakota. So if I don't answer immediately, please know that is why.
So thank
Right.
you. I put your substack.com link from the website up here. I also wanted to ask if you were willing to put the chart images on the Facebook page. We can add it to when you were talking here, and we can ask Kev to add those, or I can add them to the Facebook page on Dragon Thunder if you give us permission. Is that okay to share
Yes,
those?
absolutely.
That way, if anyone really wants to see them more up close, they can. Great. I'll add those to the Facebook page shortly.
All right.
Thank you so much, and fascinating, beautiful talk. Thank you so much for your share.
Pleasure,
And
Kelly.
yeah, I
So
have deep memories of Atlantis. I really meet you there. I was there when the fall happened in the third dimension. There were multiple dimensions of Atlantis falling, and I have lots of stories about it. And totally with you there, sister.
Yeah. Thank goodness we have the opportunity to transmute.
No, and
So I would
heal
like to,
everything. Yeah.
yeah, if I may, very quickly end with quotes, because I love quotes. One of them is from my oldest brother. He's 86 years old. He'll be 86 this year. He's been a student of the Course in Miracles since 1975 and probably one of the most beautiful and wise elders that I know. And he said to me the other day, it's really and truly about forgiveness. unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness equals unconditional love, which equals God, source, all that is, spirit, wakantanka, whatever you wish to give the name of that which is the highest in our universes. And then I love Krishnamurti, because he's very much about self-awareness and freedom and a deep understanding of life. Only when your hearts are empty of the things of the mind is there love. Then you will know what it is to love without separation, without distance, without time, and without fear. And a second quote of his, which is really lovely: in oneself lies the whole world. And if you know how to look and learn, the door is there and the key is in your hand. And so that is my prayer and my wish and my intention. I trust that everyone who's here today on this call has received all the keys and codes and crystal drops to bring you into deeper relationship with Source and yourself, your own magnificence, your self-mastery, and may you unveil the mystery within. Thank you so much, Barbara and Kelly, for holding the space for me to be able to share my story. Thank you to everyone who has been online with us and those who will listen to the replay. And a big thank you to Kevin for creating this platform. My heart is full and fully expanded. Lots of love.
Thank you. Thank you. I've got full body chills, so thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
That was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for journeying with us today on the English Mystic Podcast, Dragon Thunder Summit 2025 edition. This is just one voice, one frequency in a greater dragon symphony, each echoing across the earth right now. If you felt the stir in your heart, if you heard a whisper from your dragon allies, then the work is beginning. Be sure to explore all 36 epic speakers and their transmissions by heading over to the website www.dragonthunder2025.com, where the portal is open. Until next time, walk boldly with your dragons, speak your truth like fire, and may your path be guided by the ancient winds. Stay mystical, stay wild, stay dragon aligned. This is the English Mystic. See you next time.
In the realm where spirits dance, where dragons soar with fiery glance, a song of power, strength untold, for human hearts, for young and old. Wings that span the starry night, scales that gleam with ancient light. Dragons rise, guardians bold, tales of healing, tales untold. Almighty ones, wise and grand, protectors of this sacred land. With breath of fire, a timeless art, they heal and mend each wounded heart. Through shadows deep and forests wide, they guide us with a noble stride. In the dance of life, a sacred chance, to heed the call of dragon trance. Scale by scale, a shield they weave. In the moonlit night, their magic breathe. Whispers of protection, strong and true. In the realm where dreams come through. So gather round, O kin of earth. Let the dragon's melody give birth to healing streams and fiery light, as we journey through the shaman's night. O dragons, ancient and divine, your friendship like the stars will shine in the tapestry of life. A song we weave with spirits, dragons, hearts believe.